Last week at CMLL's Homenaje a Dos Leyendas, AEW's Willow Nightingale put on a fantastic performance against CMLL's resident Amazonas. This performance got me thinking about the match that revived the women's division in CMLL nearly 20 years ago. And for those unaware, from 1954 to 1986, women were unofficially banned from participating in Lucha Libre in Mexico City. This ban was not a law that came from the will of the people, but rather a decision by the Mexico City Office of Public Spectacles to deny EMLL their permit to hold events at Arena Coliseo because they did not consider women's lucha libre a sporting spectacle, but rather it was presented to exploit the morbid interests of its audiences. This office would be the same one to ban all lucha libre from being broadcast on TV from 1956 all the way until 1991, due to concerns from parents that lucha libre was corrupting the youth. For anyone interested in learning more about these bans in detail, there is a great 2021 article published by Marjolein van Bavel from the University of Antwerp's Department of History that covers this extensively. According to Van Bavel's findings, even before the ban, Mexican luchadoras had many less opportunities than the men. Oftentimes, the EMLL events that did feature women were opportunities for foreign women coming into the shows, and not for the domestic luchadoras of Mexico. Even after the ban was lifted, women still would not be featured as much in CMLL. Their official Women's World Championship would come into existence 6 years later in 1992, with the inaugural reign belonging to Bull Nakano. This championship would be held by big names throughout the 90s, such as Akira Hokuto, Xochitl Hamada, Lady Apache, and Marco Yoshida. But it would only be defended 5 times in Arena Mexico for the first 13 years of its existence. It would be unfair to say that there was no women's wrestling in Arena Mexico between 1991 and 2005, as there were women's matches held during that time. However, the ladies were booked very sporadically compared to the men and without as much direction for the division as a whole. It is also important to note here that while CMLL didn't create their own women's world title until 1992, the Mexican National Women's Championship had been in existence since 1955 and has been held by other legendary women in lucha libre such as Irma Gonzalez, Marta Villalobos, La Dama Enmascarada, and Chabela Romero. How could this be, you may ask? Wasn't women's lucha libre banned in 1954? Well, yes, but the ban was in effect only for Mexico City. Smaller promotions in cities outside the capital continued to showcase women's lucha libre, keeping this work alive for women of that era and allowing for the formation of legends such as those I mentioned before. I say all of this as context, important context, to the match that would finally give life to the women's division in CMLL. On Friday, July 1st, 2005, on the same card as the annual Gran Alternativa tournament, CMLL booked a tag match featuring Lady Apache and Marcela against La Amapola and Dark Angel. In this video, we're going to be talking about that match in length. First, I want to take a look at our 4 competitors. Las técnicas for this match were Lady Apache and Marcela. By 2005, Lady Apache had already held the CMLL World Women's Championship twice, once in 1996 and again in 1999. She worked a couple of matches for UWA in the early 90s and would tour Japan throughout the 90s and 2000s as well. Before this CMLL match, Lady Apache had been working in AAA since the year 2000. Her partner for this match, Marcela, had not yet held that Women's World Championship, but she had been active in CMLL sporadically throughout the 90s and early 2000s. Marcela would also be very active in Japan, having quite a few matches in Big Japan Pro Wrestling and other Japanese promotions. On the Ruda side, we had La Amapola and Dark Angel. Amapola's time in CMLL started in 1998, and she would work for them throughout the late 90s and early 2000s. Like Marcela, she too would tour Japan, also working for Big Japan and Hypervisual Fighting, Arcean. Last, we had Dark Angel Sarah Stock. Dark Angel debuted in 2002, and her years before CMLL were spent first in Canada, as she is Canadian, and then with Lucha Promotions in Monterrey. Dark Angel would appear for some AAA shows as well, even appearing on their 2005 Reina de Reinas show. Now let's jump to the actual match. This is a one-fall match with no time limit. The versions of this match that I saw did not have any entrances, but they did start with introductions for all our luchadoras. So I'm assuming this is cut from the TV broadcast on Televisa. Anyways, after we get everyone introduced, we start playing to the crowd to get them loud, and boy, are they loud. Our two first competitors in the ring are Dark Angel and Lady Apache. We get a couple of lockups, then a body lock by Lady Apache. Dark Angel transitions out and hits a very smooth looking snapmare takedown into a pin with a bridge. Of course, Lady Apache kicks out, gets up, and immediately gets arm dragged back down. Dark Angel goes for another pin, is unsuccessful, more transitions, a rebound off the ropes, and another pin attempt. And I just want to say here, this entire first exchange showed how gifted both women were on the mat. Once they're both back on their feet, Dark Angel gives Lady Apache a slap across the face as a form of disrespect. Marcela enters the ring and is immediately tossed back out, and we get our first Ruda beatdown on Lady Apache. I love the teamwork here. La Amapola drops Lady Apache with a drop toe hold, then Dark Angel puts her in La de a Caballo. And La Amapola finishes the combination with a dropkick to the face of a trapped Lady Apache. Lady Apache is forced to roll out of the ring, and our Rudas take a moment to celebrate and work the crowd. They immediately get the advantage on a returning Marcela, tossing her to the corner and delivering a running knee and dropkick back to back. Las Rudas continue their rampage, tossing Lady Apache to the ropes. Amapola waiting for her and slamming her to the canvas with a sit-out spinebuster, then without missing a beat, Dark Angel drives her elbow into the sternum of their victim. It's only been 3 minutes, but Las Rudas have been dominating so far. That is, until they go for a double delayed vertical suplex. This is the opportunity Lady Apache needs. She's able to reverse this, and Marcela is ready to hit a double clothesline as soon as Las Rudas recover. Lady Apache drop kicks La Amapola out, and now it's our Técnica's turn for some revenge. Lady Apache leaves the ring, and it makes me think that she's just being a good Técnica and allowing Marcela to take on Dark Angel one-on-one. But a few moments later, as Marcela is holding Dark Angel up, we see Lady Apache on the top rope. She leaps down, grabbing Dark Angel's hair and assisting Marcela with a big slam to the mat. Grabbing the hair is not the most Técnica of moves, but in this case, I get it. La Amapola gets her just desserts next, and Marcela hits her with a move I just found very intriguing. Marcela jumps up on the shoulders of her teammate, then positions herself with an arm wrapped around the head of La Amapola. She gets some momentum and pushes off Lady Apache into a tornado DDT. The match feels pretty even as we reset with Dark Angel and Marcela in the ring. They both get a couple of knockdowns, and then Marcela gets tossed over the top rope, landing on the apron. She surprises Dark Angel by leaping over and arm dragging her to the mat. She follows up on this by drop kicking Dark Angel out of the ring, and here I expected a big dive to the outside. La Amapola, however, is not having it. She rushes in to stop Marcela from taking any further action. La Amapola doesn't do much else here as Marcela gets up on the second turnbuckle. Next is what I consider one of my favorite Marcela spots. Her corner Hurricane Rana looks fantastic and pops me every time. It looks so simple and fluid, and yet I'm still amazed every time. Of course, right after this, she catches Amapola with a rope-assisted head scissors takedown. La Amapola gains control for a second and then loses it immediately as she misses and goes shoulder first into the ring post and out of the ring. And she really committed on this too, wrapping around the entire post and hitting the floor with a thud. I'm starting to think we're nearing the last part of the match as the action is starting to scale up. Lady Apache and Dark Angel are back in the ring together. Dark Angel quickly takes control with a dropkick and an elbow drop, but then Lady Apache starts to turn the tables. La Amapola jumps in to help, but the 2-on-1 is not enough to stop Lady Apache. She takes Dark Angel to the corner, and when La Amapola attempts to intervene again, she hits both of the combined arm drag head scissors takedown. Again, a beautiful and smooth movement. Las Rudas try a couple of double clotheslines but miss and are met with a big plancha by Marcela from the top rope. We reset again, and now Lady Apache and La Amapola stand face to face. Amapola flies out of the ring after attempting an I don't know what and being countered by Lady Apache. Capitalizing on this, Marcela goes up for a huge plancha to the outside. A small detail here that I loved as well was Dark Angel rushing to try to stop Marcela before she flattened her teammate. This is not unique to her, but it's one of those details that really gets me more invested in a match. We cut back to the ring, and from the top rope, Lady Apache delivers a Joshi-style dropkick to Dark Angel. She pulls Dark Angel back to her feet and takes her up just to slam her right back down with a variation on a Michinoku driver. And I quite like the variation Lady Apache uses here, as it looks like she hooks the leg like a fisherman's suplex and then drives Dark Angel through the mat. La Amapola makes it back into the ring, but it's too late as Lady Apache secures the pin on Dark Angel and eliminates her. And not to be outdone, Marcela uses the ropes as a springboard, gets up on the shoulders of La Amapola and traps her in a Huracan Rana to eliminate her as well. And just like that, our Técnicas have secured the victory. The match only goes for roughly 7 minutes and 15 seconds, and in my opinion, delivers in every second. Could it have gone longer? Yes. Should it? Also yes. The Women's World Championship would return to CMLL later that year, just in time for the 72nd Aniversario show. The two women facing off for that championship would be none other than Marcela and Dark Angel, having been the last two in a Torneo Cibernetico eliminator the week before. Marcela would win this match and crown herself Women's World Champion for the first time. Additionally, every woman in this July 1st match, except for Dark Angel, would hold the CMLL Women's World title. Marcela 5 times, and La Amapola with a record-setting 1,442-day reign. You can say what you want about the prestige of this title throughout various points in time, but for the present time, it seems to be in very good hands, the current champion being La Primera, Stephanie Vaquer. I'd love to go through more of the history of this belt and the women's division as a whole, but that would make this video much longer, so I will end with this. It is very evident, based on the women's match from Homenaje a Dos Leyendas, that CMLL's Amazonas are on the right path and will continue to improve. What at times may have seemed like a weak division is now on the up and up, with many young and talented luchadoras on the roster.